Welcome back. Final round chase card coverage from the Santa Cruz Masters Cup. Here's our top 10. Ezra Robinson leading the pack at 19 down for the event. Let's see if chase card can make that final day push. I'm Keenan Dalton of Top World Disc Golf, here again with Paavo Stubstad. We got a sweet card for you guys.
Excited to be back for the third and final time here, Keenan. Back at De La Viega with some players that we saw on yesterday's chase card, as well as some that we saw on third card check-ins that made it up to chase card.
That's right. We got Anthon, Andy Miranda, Emmanuel Torres, and Chandler Kramer again. So De La is back in the short positions for the final day. So starting it off on hole 1, 262 feet. Mando left and right, and the basket just above the railroad ties. So make the Mando and give yourself a look at birdie.
And this position is quite a bit more birdieable than the longer pin that we see up there to the right, which we saw the players play in round 1, so should be fun.
Let's get started. Manny up first. I think he's going to reach for his destroyer on this one. Manny currently at -14 for the event, so he could still make a final round push, especially with 24 holes, which are more or less all birdieable.
Especially being a local, as you mentioned before, or at least you said local to Pinto. So I imagine semi-local to De La.
Great start there, hitting the top railroad tie. He's in circle 1 for birdie. Josh Anthon up next.
Always fun to watch. Super unique form, extremely consistent on the green. Love that run up.
Good drive as well. He should just be outside circle 1, almost pin high. That should give him a look for birdie. And third on the box, tied with Josh Anthon at -12, is Andrew Miranda.
A little too high, maybe? No, maybe not. Wow, not too high at all. Great shot from Andrew.
Yeah, looked like it dropped just in time to get under that low ceiling and just a little past the basket, also in circle 1.
Tough to go deep on this one.
And the fourth person on our card, Chandler Kramer, likes the sidearm.
Lots of ante on that, but it's overstable enough. Fighting back. It looks like it might have nicked one of those trees, but that'll give him a long look. There's been a Chandler on every round of coverage from Top World Disc Golf. Switching out one for the other, and then back to the original Chandler from round 1.
He gave that an okay bid, but it's just going to be a par for him. Let's see what Josh can do with this birdie look.
Boom. Can't say I'm surprised. The man is consistent on the putting green.
And then here's where Andrew's drive landed, past the basket. See if he can correct the putting woes he's had last round.
Perfect. Good start. And today this hole averaged 2.93, quite a bit easier than the long pin. A lot more birdies this time than we saw in round 1, as is to be expected.
Nice birdie from Manny to get his round started as well. So 3 birdies and 1 par.
Good start for the card.
On to hole 2, 255 feet, par 3. Slightly different position from day 1. This is in the right position, just to the right of this eucalyptus tree, or sorry, acacia tree, just in this little bowl on the hillside. It's a backhand hyzer or a sidearm flex shot. Manny's going to go for the big hyzer because he has that power.
Boom. So high in the air. I guess we'll find out where he ended up when we get up there.
And Josh up next.
Not as high of a line as Manny. Looking pretty good, though. Maybe a little bit short, but in line if I had to guess.
Looks like Andrew prefers the sidearm line a little bit more. See how he executes here.
I feel like it shapes a little better for that forehand flex shot than the backhand.
Yeah, I agree. Unless you have that huge arm. Oh, and he's gone to the long pin. That was from day one. So similar shot, but I bet he wishes he threw that one on day one.
Chandler trying a similar line. Hopefully with a more stable disc. Oh, beautiful. Great shot, Chandler.
Here's Andrew up first.
Oh, had the height. Just left. That's a long putt. Oh, little right side for Anthon there. His step putt is interesting, how he lines it up and then takes a step backwards and kind of walks into it. See players like Drew Gibson and Paige Pierce doing a similar thing. They might be the only three that I can think of who do that.
Good birdie putt from Manny. Yeah, I did talk to Josh a little bit about his jump putt form, and he said he recently changed to that, and he said it helps him maintain his momentum a little bit better. And after doing some practice putting, he realized he was way more consistent with that outside the circle.
It makes a lot of sense in theory, honestly. I'm surprised we don't see more players trying it.
So 2 birdies from Chandler and Manny, and then 2 pars from Josh and Andrew.
Good birdies on this hole. It averaged 3.16. So birdies are strokes on the field.
And on to hole 3, 354-foot par 3. Same position as day one, as this is the only pin position on this hole. So you're going to see probably similar shots, backhand up the middle or the big sidearm line. Manny up first, lining up that sidearm.
And he's got big power with both throwing styles, and with both throwing styles, he makes that big power look pretty effortless. Came up a bit short left, probably clipped some limbs.
Chandler with a similar smooth sidearm. Looks like it hit that dead pine tree and didn't get all the way to the basket, but he still should have a look.
Anthon going for the roller. Love it. This man has quite the roller game.
Yeah, it's not
Look
really...
out, cameraman. Sorry.
Yeah, not too many players throw that roller on this hole. It's kind of an older player's type of shot, but it works out really good for those that have it.
Yeah, I was actually expecting Anthon to just do the classic, backhand mid-range down the middle, but the roller play is interesting.
Chandler for birdie.
Yeah, easy par. Good bid from an awkward stance. Well into circle 2, at least. All right, here's Manny. Can he start 3 for 3? Oh, a little bit left side.
Yeah, almost tickled the chains, but not enough. Here's Anthon for birdie after the roller.
Automatic.
Birdie. Josh also had his whole family in tow. His dad was there, his wife, and his 2 sons. So we had an Anthon gallery.
I think that's pretty typical. I filmed Josh Anthon for a few events on PHP back in the day, and his family was in tow for those as well.
So with that, Josh is going to take the box with the only birdie from this group.
Yeah, this hole averaged 2.95, just slightly below par. Kind of surprising to only see 1 birdie on our chase card here.
Here we have hole 4, 318 feet, par 3. It's in the short position, so much more scoreable than the long position that we saw on day 1 of Masters Cup. So you want to throw over these oak trees and get down onto this hard pan, preferably into the circle because it's kind of a scary putt with the drop off behind it. I think the ideal play is
a scary putt at De La? You don't say.
Josh kind of ripped that one a little too hard and hits the foliage on the right side, so I think birdie's out of the question. He's going to have to scramble for par from there. Manny just going with the putter shot.
Oh, no. Kicks off to the left.
A roller.
Chandler going for the forehand roller. It didn't look like it was going to be a roller out of his hand, but man, that thing is understable.
Yeah, don't see that shot very often on the short position. It's a good sidearm up shot from Anthon. That should be pretty much parked for the par.
Yeah, Manny was giving that a bid. Easy par, though.
That's where Chandler's roller ended up.
I liked the line till it clipped those branches. What could have been, we'll never know.
Saves par. We still haven't seen Andrew putt, so he's going to be the one with the opportunity for birdie out of this group. Here he is, just inside the circle. Probably a 20-foot putt. And I like the attention to detail. He fixes the chains before making his putt attempt.
Yep. I always agree with doing that. You don't want to start thinking like, well, is it actually going to affect my putt or not? I mean, as soon as it's in your head, you gotta fix it for your mental game, even if it's not going to affect your putt physically. And we got the rest of the card tapping in pars here. Another hole averaging very close to par, 3.06. There are a lot of holes today in the short layout at De La that averaged within a tenth of a stroke of par, either above or below.
On to hole 5 in the short position. So day 1 they played a temp basket, and on this final day it's in the short. So just past this oak tree. It's a pretty standard shot, should be relatively easy for these guys. I guess the only danger is the possibility of a 2-meter on this hole, but it should be a backhand fairway driver. But Andrew throwing his putter actually.
Flips up nicely. Absolutely parked. Hopefully that branch won't be in his way for his little 10-foot putt.
Yeah, love that flight.
Yep.
Josh going a little wide, but fights through the oak tree and should give him a low ceiling putt for birdie.
Yep, in the circle, just some branches to contend with.
Manny putting a nice line on it.
Perfect. Not surprising to see, but this was one of the easiest holes on the day, averaging 2.62.
A little low out of the hand from Chandler, but great skip off of the one patch of dead grass.
Yeah, that was a good break. With grass all over the fairway, he found the one little strip of hardpan. Yeah, awkward putt there. You could tell he wasn't comfortable following through completely because of the stump thingy in front of him.
Yeah, didn't capitalize on the fortunate skip. And it looks like it's going to be birdies for the rest of them, unless Andrew misses this, but he's pretty good for these.
Yeah, very unlikely. And there is Manny's park job. Don't hit your head, as they say.
On to hole 6. This is the same as day 1, the long position. So it's dealer's choice, whatever line you can throw to get it down there. You just want to avoid going long because the OB beyond the basket is OB, and you don't want to go too far right because there's also the water retention drainage ditch on the right side that is also out of bounds, marked by the flags.
Yeah, the two OBs on this hole are really the main challenge. Not a lot of obstacles besides that telephone pole, but with OB in the circle deep and OB probably circle's edge on the right, it can be tricky. Oh, so straight. What a flight. That'll be a scary putt.
Yeah, almost parked, but got caught up by that tree. And
Josh going wide.
Yeah,
Looks like it was intentional with the stability of that disc.
Yeah, you don't see too many throws to the right side of that telephone pole.
For a backhand line, I like it because throwing an overstable disc over there and flexing it back kind of gives you better distance control, I feel like, than throwing a mid or something straight at it. Oh, Manny's doing a similar line. That's going to end up left, though.
I think that's the same disc that he threw on hole 4. But yeah, as you mentioned, just a little bit too much stability and ends up left of the basket.
Yeah, the difference between Manny's and Josh's shot is Josh kind of forced his over and got some turn out of it. The discs looked like they were equally overstable, but Manny kind of didn't get any turn. Oh, did Chandler stay safe there?
Yeah, he hits the log or the pole and,
and
stays in bounds, but too wide for birdie. Yeah. Take his par and move on. Manny in a similar area where the oak tree is just barely in the way of a clean putt.
Yep. To run that, you'd have to go with a pretty extreme hyzer angle, which would mean going in the road if you missed. So smart to lay up from there. Andrew Miranda, he doesn't lay up. Death putt, he's not worried about it. And that's a turkey for him. Well done.
Yeah, great putt. Here's Josh for birdie.
Nice.
Such a good putter.
Such a good disc golfer, really, but especially on the green, man. He is one of the best putters of all time in my book. And we got a couple players tapping in pars here. This hole averaging 3.07, barely over par.
All right, next hole, hole 7, 312-foot par 3. Day 1, you saw it in the long position, and on final day, we're in the short. So the play is probably a mid-range, straight down the middle, or maybe a putter for some of these big throwers, or Chandler might demonstrate the sidearm line.
And Chandler will almost certainly demonstrate the sidearm line. That was a lot of Anheuser out of the hand, but I actually like the play. Just not what I would expect to see. Yeah, he's in the circle. Maybe circle's edge.
I think this is Josh's rock 3. Just gets over on it a little too much and pretty short of the basket.
Yeah. I like the disc choice. Rock 3 is probably what I would go with on this hole as well. Maybe a rock X3 to get a little more stable finish out of it. Manny, that's early. Can he get through? Should be an easy par, though. Oh, that was so close, man. Couple feet to the left. The flight was looking good.
Yeah, it's a much tighter line than the backhand. And he almost got it well, but hits that dead pine. Layup time.
Yep. It looked like Josh was running that. Kind of surprised, but also it's Josh Anthon, so I'm actually not that surprised. He's always good for the comebacker.
Yeah, Sunday run day, as they say.
Yeah, Manny didn't have much from that low ceiling putt in the rough there. He just lays up.
Here's Andrew for birdie.
No, sit. Sit. Okay, could have been worse. Still kind of a rude little roll. No. Don't let those putting woes from round 2 come back, Andy. You got this.
Yeah, it's tough after the 3 birdies to 3 putt for the bogey. So here's Chandler to save his par.
Good save. So we're going to see no birdies on this hole from our chase card, which is kind of surprising. This looks like one of the easier ones. Yep, 2.9, slightly under par average.
Hole 8, par 3, 348 feet. This basket never moves. The only position on this hole. You got the natural OB on the right. You do not want to go right. Makes for tough up and down. And then you don't want to go too far left because there is the OB road past the fallen logs.
I remember Chandler Kramer throwing a pretty sick hyzer flip on this in round 1. I'm excited to see him try that again.
Josh with the same disc as the previous hole.
Yeah, and just like the previous hole, he just turns it a little bit too much. Not that a player like Josh Anthon should listen to a 950s rated guy like myself, but maybe try a Rock X3. For me, that really bridged the gap between my Rock 3s and, my really overstable mids like Gators.
And there's Manny's putter. I think that was his proxy. He's been throwing that a lot so far on holes 4 and 6.
Oh, there's that hyzer flip I wanted to see. So cool. Oh, unfortunate ground play. Still a fun flight to watch, though.
Yeah, just a little higher, and that could have been great.
All right, let's see if Andy can bounce back after the 3-putt. Yeah, we'll give him a look, I think. Tough to tell from this angle.
Chandler made a similar putt in round 1, but not to be today. Oh, and almost goes out of bounds.
That was fortunate to go over that log and still not go in the road.
Josh out of the acacia trees.
Oh, that looked awkward. Good up. He was close to the basket, but the way he had to kind of throw that on an Annie, he couldn't really even do a putting style throw. Sit. Well, not OB.
It's Manny for birdie.
No.
What an awkward little kick out. It looks like it hit the nub on the inside of the basket.
Yeah, that was weird for sure. No. Back-to-back 3 putts for Andrew. I mean, this time the first putt was from very far away, so it doesn't hurt as much as the previous hole, I guess, but still sucks after he was putting together a solid round and a turkey right before the first bogey. Still plenty of golf left, though.
Chandler saves his par. So it's looking like 3 pars and a bogey from Andrew.
Unfortunate. Same thing, 2 holes in a row. Andrew bogeys, the other 3 guys par. Let's see some birdies on this next hole, fellas.
Yeah, this one should be birdieable. Hole 9, 204 feet. On day 1, you saw it on the left position, and on this final day, we're going to the right.
Actually, the opposite of that, right? For day 1, we saw it on the right. Now we're going to the left, I believe.
Oh, you're correct, yes.
Yeah. It's tough when both baskets are in place for the drone previews.
Yeah.
Anthon with the turnover. Looking, maybe a good kick. That was actually headed towards the Friday position.
And Manny taking the sidearm line, which is did not expect.
Another good tree, man. That was headed towards that original position, and the way it was fading, it could have gone down the hill.
Yeah, he should be in circle 1, maybe with an awkward putt.
Have a seat, Chandler. Yep. There's a wall there. Good save.
Yeah, not too much room behind the tee pad on this one.
It is only a 200-foot hole, but still not James Conrad's favorite tee pad, that's for sure.
Good recovery after the fall.
The quote-unquote fall. The involuntary sit, we'll call it.
Yeah, how was your trip?
Unfortunate kick there for Andrew.
Yeah, kind of a tough up and down. Bad
no.
Kick.
That was looking like it had a chance to go in until it hit that tree. Now he's got work left to do for the par. There's Josh with that walking step putt. Boom, perfect. Love watching this guy putt.
Incredible. Yeah, that little step putt's working, or jump putt. So here's where Andrew kicked to the right side. He's got a tough look to save his par.
Don't roll. That looked like it might roll. Yeah, he's looking at it too. Oh, we'll find out where it went. Yeah, it rolled a little bit. Could have been worse, could have been better, but still. Not the putt you want for bogey. He makes it, but man, that hurts. 3 bogeys in a row after the turkey. I've heard that referred to as a vulture.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, just canceled out all his hard work.
Which means with 3 birdies in a row, immediately followed by 3 bogeys in a row, would that make it a turkey vulture?
I guess so. So Manny with the nice putt from the knee for the birdie, and then Chandler also capitalizing to secure the birdie. So 3 birdies and 1 bogey.
Yep, you definitely want the birdie on this one. Little 200-footer, average 2.68.
Moving on to hole 10, 323-foot par 3. It's a fun shot, fun hole, and today we are going to the straight position. It's probably going to be a backhand flex line or straight up at it. Let's see, Josh going for the fairway driver. Kind of flex line.
Oh, higher than I was expecting. Going for more of a flex shot, but yeah, didn't have enough turn. That's going to be way left with that bad kick.
Looks like Manny's lining up a similar line. Overstable flex. Well executed.
Oh, nice.
Just past the basket in the circle, yep. I think this is a Innova TL3 from Chandler.
Oh, yeah, nice and flippy, but not too flippy. Great shot. Another hole where the forehand looks trickier than the backhand, but Chandler Kramer makes it work.
Early release from Andrew just barely makes that Mando.
At least he made the Mando. Could have been a lot worse. Ooh, this looks like a tricky spot that Josh found himself in here.
Yeah, out of the poison oak, trying to decide between the backhand or the sidearm through the very, very tiny gap to get up and down for par.
Keeps changing his mind. That looks pretty good. Oh, good out. I honestly love seeing that. That's why, like, a lot of the more open courses on tour these days are less exciting for me to watch, because players aren't forced to think about alternate stances and approaches and stuff punching out of the rough on open courses. I love seeing that aspect of the sport of disc golf.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to scramble at day law. Here's Manny for birdie.
Perfect.
Good putt. I think right now he's putting with the Prodigy PA3s. Andrew's just going to tap in his par. We haven't seen Chandler putt yet. Here we go.
Oh, there he is. Beautiful forehand drive. Easy birdie. And Josh taking no time at all.
Yeah, he's so quick on the tee and on the putting green as well.
Dude, it's fun to watch him play, but if I'm being honest, it's not fun to film him because he plays so fast. It's hard to get his shots, like after you're done filming the previous shot. I'm sure you know what that's like, being T-cam during this round.
Yeah, it's what's worse, I guess, a super fast putter or super slow. On to hole 11, 302 feet in the short position, so a little bit more birdieable than the long. If you watch the AM coverage, we did have a star frame on this hole, so let's see what the MPO chase card can do.
Missed that? Nope.
Once you miss those trees with the sidearm line, you're pretty good, but you gotta get past them first. And Chandler hitting the other pine tree.
Well, it's not looking like we're going to see that star frame you mentioned that we saw in the AM coverage. Josh looks like he's just going down the middle. Yeah, that's the line that, oh, well, I spoke too soon. That Annie to the left of that tree that Josh was going for looks like the ideal line to me.
Yeah, those 3 guardian pine trees are the only ones to miss. This looks like more what you want.
Yep, good throw. Should put him maybe just outside the circle if I had to guess.
Here's Chandler looking high for the sidearm approach.
Basically just a shorter version of the tee shot he was going for, and he executes it this time. Little tester left for the par, but he should be all right.
And Josh is in the fairway of hole 10, trying to save his par. Into circle 1.
Nice. Oh, there it is.
And Manny he's almost on the tee pad of hole 10. Had to ask the lead card to wait for us to play through.
No, the putting woes continue for Andy. That's too bad. Josh Anthon does not know what putting woes are. I don't think he's ever had those in his life. And a good comebacker from Andrew there. Chandler saving the par. And Manny doing the same. This hole averaged 2.73. Pretty far under par. Kind of surprising to not see any birdies on our chase card here.
And heading on to hole 12, the last hole of part 1 of the final round chase card coverage from Top World. This basket has moved to the short left position, so 297-foot par 3. The drone here is probably flying the preferred route, which is the sidearm flex line. I think that's the most consistent way to get a look at birdie, but you'll also see players go with the backhand up the gut to hopefully give themselves a gap through the trees for birdie.
I agree with you, Keenan. The forehand flex shot looks like the consistent way to play this. The backhand line, you can get consistent for the first 80% of the flight, but then at the end, you're just kind of crossing your fingers and hoping you either punch through the trees or give yourself a putt through the trees.
A little error here in the filming. Missed the tee shot from Manny, but catch cam's got your drive there. Just landing just outside circle 1. Chandler throwing that flex line, looks good, just maybe a little low. Yeah, doesn't get to pan out quite enough.
Very close. Well, Josh is going to try to make the backhand work. It was interesting that he chose to run up from the right side of the tee pad. It almost made it look like he was going to throw a cut roller or something, but he just threw a normal air shot.
Yeah, this tee pad's kind of pointed in an awkward way. I think it would be a little better if it was a couple inches over to the right. There's Andrew's drive landed about pin high near the stairs to the next hole. It's going to be.
And isn't there also a par 4 position of this hole, like up at the top of that staircase?
There is.
Ish.
Yeah, that's the Chuck Burkett pin position. That was one of our club members that passed away a couple years ago. That was one of the pin positions that he dreamt up, and so we brought it to fruition after his passing. So that hole is kind of reserved for some specific tournaments throughout the year.
Yeah, this is just a really tricky green to access. Despite being only 297, it's actually a pretty tricky hole. Well, it did average below par, but 2.94, just barely below par. Oh, Andy almost making the birdie there.
Here's Manny for birdie.
Last chance for birdie on our chase card here. No. Man, the whole card started so good for the first 6 or 7 holes, and then they've all been kind of struggling on the green a little bit, everyone except for Josh.
Yeah, you're right. Manny and Josh currently at 5 down for the round, and Andrew at 1 and Chandler at -3, but they could have been a lot further under par had some of these putts fallen.
At least everyone on the card is still under par, which would be a great score on day 1 in the long layout, but today, players of this skill, they're probably hoping to be quite a bit more under par than that after 12 holes.
Yeah, especially going into this next stretch of a couple longer par 3s relative to the rest of the holes. But that'll do it for part 1 of our final round coverage of the chase card. Here's the summary of those first 12 holes. Manny and Josh currently shooting the hot round with -5. Tune back in to part 2 to see how the action unfolds and if this chase card can make a push for the win.
Thanks for joining us.